I built my first AI agent with zero coding experience. You can see that in my previous video. It works. It emailed me a news brief every Sunday morning. But getting there, 5 separate things broke. And the annoying part, every one of them looked completely fine, whereas it was broken. There was green check marks everywhere. The workflow ran, I just didn't notice it was running wrong or running expensive until later. So this isn't the clean version. These are the 5 things that actually went wrong, what each one cost me, and how I fixed it. So the first thing I built was the part that pulls article in from a few different sources. A quick note on the numbers you are going to see. n8n calls each piece of data an item. And in this build, one item is one article. So when I say items and articles, I mean the same thing. I wired the nodes in a line. So this one feeds the next, etc., etc. At the time, it made sense in my head. I just hit run and everything looked green. So I supposed everything was just working fine. But look carefully at the item count. I expected around 100 articles across my feeds. Instead, I got 6,000. Wiring them in a line didn't combine the feeds. In n8n, a node runs once for every item it's handed. So the second feed reran for every item the first one produced, the third reran for every item out of the second, and the count multiplied instead of adding up. So 100 articles became 6,000. And that last node you can see in red, well, it was about to take those 6,000 and turn them into 300,000. That's when everything kind of fell apart. So the fix was just rewiring. I pulled each source out so they could run side by side. Then I dropped the merge node to bring them back together. Same nodes, I didn't touch a single settings. I run it again and I was back to around 100 articles. Each feed this time counted once. In n8n, how you connect things is really important. If you do side by side, each feed runs once and you add them up. You get about 100 articles. In a line though, each one reruns for everything before it and you multiply. That's why you get the 6,000. They were the same nodes and the same feeds. The thing is, I told it the wrong thing and it did exactly what I said, which is basically the whole video. It kept doing exactly what I was telling it to do, but I was telling it wrong. And keep that 6,000 in mind. It comes back later and it's about to get expensive. I needed Hacker News in the feed, so I found this URL hnrss.org. What it does, it wraps up Hacker News as RSS for you. It's free, there's no sign up, so I just pasted the URL, ran it, and it worked. So what you can see here in the short video is just me recreated this error, so 429, which basically means that you have made too many requests. In reality, when I was building the AI agent, it happened a little bit differently. I was trying to tweak different nodes. So every time I was changing something, I had to rerun the whole workflow. So this is when, after some time, I run into this error. And that thing was just on me, to be fair. It's not a bug or not bad luck. Had been just hammering a free service I don't pay a cent for, so I was just simply cut off. Fair enough, honestly. So the fix, I just use Hacker News on feed, which is news.ycombinator.com/RSS. It's straight from the source, there's no middleman to throttle me, and I literally receive the same articles. What's the take on this? Well, when you build on someone else's free service, you're a guest, so do not abuse it. And also, keep a backup URL, because eventually the free stuff will run dry. Once the news pipeline worked, I just need to send all those articles to Claude. I searched Anthropic in the panel, 2 came up, and I just picked the obvious looking one. Anthropic chat model. The right logo, looks like the AI nodes from every tutorial. I added it, opened it up, but as you can see, there was almost nothing in there, right? Nowhere to actually write what I wanted Claude to do. I stared at it for a minute thinking maybe something is broken or I did something wrong. I hadn't though. The node is just not built for this. It's a provider node, meant to plug into an AI agent setup, not run a prompt on its own. But as you can see, nothing tells you that. It's the same brand, the same logo, asks for your API key. It looks like the thing you want, but it's actually not. The one I actually needed was message model. Resource, text, operation, message model. Now the prompt fields, as you can see, shows up. Max tokens is under options. This is the one that sends a request and gets an answer back. This is the one that we can actually use. Again, what to remember here. If a node looks right but won't do anything, sometimes it's not that you set it up wrong. It's because it's not the right node for your job. n8n search shows you everything with a matching name, including stuff for completely different jobs. So be vigilant and pay attention when you select a node. At this point, the agent looked down. The feed is working, the right articles are going through, Claude summarizing, the email is going out, everything is green on the screen, so I tested it properly. Watch the item count carefully on the Claude node. 30 items going on, and remember, one item is one article here. And then 30 items coming out. I was assuming actually that Claude was reading all 30 articles and handing me one digest. Well, that thought was wrong. What it was doing actually was firing 30 separate times one article each, which resulted in 30 API calls instead of one. So you can imagine the difference in terms of cost. And I only caught it because I checked the bill. One quick note. The 1 cent you can see here on the screen is just for another AI agent I had been tested, which is unrelated to the one we are talking about. So one call covering all 30 articles cost me 1 cent. 30 separate calls cost 6 cents. So you have a 6 times difference here. Per run every week, it can add up quickly. And literally nothing warns you, right? The workflow run, the email arrives, the only signal is the invoice at the end of the month. Oh, and remember the 6,000 item for the chain feeds mistake earlier? Well, if I had sent that to Claude like this, that's 6,000 separate API calls. And if you're not vigilant, again, the costs can add up pretty quickly. The fix here was pretty straightforward. Just add an aggregate node. You drop it in before the Claude node, and it's meant to bundle everything into a single list. I named the fields articles. Here are the parts to watch. The count now drops from 30 to 1. So it doesn't mean that I lost 29 articles, no. It just means that the 30 articles are still in there, just packed inside a single item now. So we end up with one item, one call to Claude, one summary. This is really the sneaky one because nothing looks broken. The output is fine, the cost just balloons where you cannot see it. So the habit that saves you here is watching the item count coming out of any node that talks to a paid API. If 30 items go in and 30 come out, well, you're paying 30 times. Whereas one packed item would have done the job once. At this point, the agent worked. I had a summary generating, the email was landing every Sunday, and then I actually checked my inbox. And as you can see, it's like we are back in 1995, just a wall of text. Claude actually formatted it nicely, there's sections, bullets, but plain text email just doesn't do the job. The content was good, it's just read like a system log. It's easy to call that cosmetic, but I'm supposed to read that every Sunday, and if it looks like junk mail, I won't. Worse than that, if I ever want to show it to someone, say a client or a sponsor, well, that version does the opposite of selling it, right? The fix here is not a better agent, the agent is working fine. I just wrapped close output in HTML. So I switched the email type from text to HTML, dropped the response into a styles template, dark theme. And there's one small trick, a single line of CSS, the one that you can see on the screen. It tells the emails to keep the line breaks cloud added, so the formatting holds instead of collapsing into a wall of text. And you can see the final result. This is the same agent, the same words. It just looks like something much more professional, something that has been built on purpose, instead of a text that escaped from a script. And that's it for this video. I wanted to show you the behind the scenes of building an AI agent, the good, the bad, and the ugly, which weirdly the part that most tutorials skip these days. So let me be honest with you. Even when you don't need to code, building an AI agent takes time. There's trial and error. You'll see green check marks everywhere and still get outputs that's nothing like what you wanted. So keep your eyes open and double check everything, especially the costs. In my next video, I will put 3 tools head to head: n8n, Make, and Zapier. I built the same agent on all 3, and I'll tell you which one I actually felt comfortable with. I think it'll surprise you. So don't forget to subscribe, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye.